it's Lil, episode 17 from Tropical-Rouge. Lots of things to say. MER is here. Let's talk about it. Wow. Emotions overflowing. I'm still emotional after watching this episode. It was not what I was expecting. It was very different from what I was envisioning. But let me be honest, it blew me away because of all the emotions and all the things it was shown. God. Let's start by talking about the first scene, which Cure Flamingo said something like, where does it end? How much further will we have to go? They were going underwater to try and find Laura. That was a nice observation, which I think connects to last episode in which they were talking about how big is the sea and how we humans don't know anything about it. And then we get to see Laura being held captive in the witch's lair, and the witch starts talking to her. She says she can really make her wish come true and make her become a human. That's what she wants. And Laura asked her, what do you want to do? What are your goals? And she doesn't really say, it clearly. She just says she just wants to delay everything. She just wants to take motivation away from the whole world, so the whole world is unmotivated. There are obviously bigger reasons for that, and we're not going to know them right now. What I want to say is that I really love the design of the queen. She looks super scary, super menacing. I really like how big she looks. That is so cool. And kudos to Tropical-Rouge because I think that all of the villains in this season are so awesome. And still talking about the villains, it was interesting how in the last episode they were able to collect motivation, and now we see how the motivation is stored, how she puts the motivation inside a big round thing, and it looks very magical. I really liked that. And still up talking about the villains, which I think connects to the future of the villains from Tropical-Rouge. When Numini and Shongire are sent to attack and collect more motivation, Numini makes a statement and she says that she is tired of going to the human world. Now that they've captured Laura, it feels like for her it would be easier if they didn't have to do anything. Well, it makes a lot of sense to who they are and how unmotivated they always are. But this fact that she was bothered by going specifically to the human world makes me wonder about their future and about their identities prior to being servants of the witch. Why don't they want to go to the human world? Were they human before and something bad happened? They made a pact with the witch? What happened? Because in this episode we saw that the witch was able to turn Laura into human if Laura wanted. So the witch has powers. She can do things. And maybe that's what happened with the villains as well. Like maybe they made a deal with her and they're working under her now. Don't forget that for Shongiri, for example, he shows a lot of contempt for the queen. He worries about her and he wants to make plates for her. He's a chef. He wants to cook for her. He seems he's worried if she's eating correctly and everything else. So it's not like he's doing this because he has to and he's worried about her. So I feel like there is a big connection between them and the witch. And just another observation about the villains. When Shongiri opens only one eye and makes that pose, he looks so hot. I'm sorry, I just had to get this out there. Back to the episode. So Shongiri and Numini, they attack that ship, they get motivation, the girls find the ship and they start fighting. In that moment we see Summer trying to leave and Shongiri starts fighting her. I really liked seeing him fight in this episode. Finally we see one of the villains actually doing something more than just creating a Yaraneda. I really liked that. But I think that what really mattered in that moment was that Shongiri talked to Summer, telling her that there was this big proposal to Laura and Laura was going to become a human and betray them. And Summer was very clear in her mind. She is not going to betray us. I believe in her. She is our friend. That is a very Precure statement right there. I felt right at home watching that. I really loved it. And you know, Summer really believes in Laura. They created this whole thing. They created this whole relationship since the first episode and everything has been building so well and she believes in her. It makes so much sense. And so Laura does not want to become a human by making a deal with the queen And when she is there locked all by herself, she starts thinking and remembering the girls. And I really loved that she remembered each of the girls individually and a little moment with each of them that she had. I really love that because we usually have like the mid-season cure or an important thing remembering the girls as a whole or the main character, but this time we had her remembering each and every one. That was so sweet, so adorable, and she was able to find Kurudun's super adorable scene as well. I loved it. Kurudun going after Elda being a child and playing around. I also love it. Great characterization of the villains, and Kurudun going there, she was able to find him and lock him up, and then Laura was able to get her. I loved everything about it. What I didn't really love that much was Laura versus the Queen at that moment. Queen, very menacing. She woke up, she got Laura in her hands, like, what? So scary. And I really liked the dialogue, like, do you want to become human? I can help you. And Laura finally admitted that she wanted to be a human and that she wanted to be with the girls, but she was going to find her own way of doing it. She was going to be able to be her own version of herself. She was not going to accept any deal from the witch. And I found that amazing. Like, for the first time she admitted it. It was great. And the visual part of Laura's face, I loved it. But, her being able to free herself just by biting the Queen's hand was so out of tune out with the rest of the scenes from the Queen. Like, I don't know. The Queen looked so scary and menacing, and then we have that. It really threw me away from the episode a little bit. She was able to get the aquapod and escape. That moment was great because we finally saw Butler attacking. Girl, Butler is scary. He can be scary with the little weapon of his. I cannot wait to see him actually fight against the girls or something. Like, girl, he was scary at that moment when he got that thing and then he threw water on her, like water power on her. Super nice. I really liked that. But that scene, like the montage of that scene was very weird because the power didn't hit Laura, but she still fainted. Like, it felt like she was able to escape the power, but I don't know if it was like the blowback. I don't know. Something got her and she fainted. That felt very weird. Like, the way the scene was created didn't feel good. And then we have one of the sweetest scenes of the episode, which is Laura's dream. She fainted and she was dreaming with the girls. She was just having a good time with them and they were preparing for other club activities. And that scene was super sweet. Again, Laura integrating with all the girls. And not only that, we had a moment in which we could really understand how Laura was feeling and how Laura feels valued by being with the girls. How Laura feels that she's being seen. She feels important. She feels valued. And I really like that. She is herself. She thinks highly of herself and everything. And they're all her peasants. But she feels valued. She feels cherished by the girls. And that is what really is important about their relationship. She really likes all the four of them. And then we see that she actually wakes up and Kurudun saved her. And we see a beautiful scene with Laura and the Queen. That moment was super, super important for a couple of reasons. Visually, it was very beautiful. The Queen is so big. The Mermaid Queen is so big as well, just like the other Queen. What's happening here? What's going on? But what mattered at that scene was the Queen gave Laura a mission. She fulfilled it, so she was free to do whatever she wanted because the mission was fulfilled. She fulfilled her role as a Queen's candidate. She showed that she can be a queen after what she did. And the Queen, she probably knew what Laura was feeling, but she left for Laura to choose. What are you going to do now? So at that moment, it was very nice because their dialogue, we barely had no background music. It was super eerie and like silent. So like, it was a good way of representing their environment of that kingdom that has nothing. There is nothing in Grand Ocean because everybody is sleeping with no motivation. The Queen is there, so it's silent. It was gorgeous. And Then we had the moment of Laura, sharing her feelings and getting to terms with her feelings. First, she says, the girls that are there are no good without me. And she is 100% correct. Laura is the foundation of the Tropical-Rouge team, even before she became a cure. Like, even from the first episode, she is the one that is like the thing. She is it. She is the thing that holds everything together in the Tropical-Rouge team. But then we see Laura remembering the girls again and again, remembering them individually and talking about a detail of their personalities. Another awesome, mind-blowing moment for me because it was so good. Remembering them and remembering a little bit of something special about them. Really loved it. And so, the Queen gives Laura something. This something, here's my theory on it. The Queen was the past cure. And when she told Laura that mermaids can't become cures, she knew that it wasn't really true because she is a mermaid and she was a past cure. That was her transformation item. Since she doesn't use it anymore, it became a relic, it became a stone. But she gave it to Laura because she knew that Laura's feelings were going to turn her into a cure. And she doesn't tell Laura what it is. She says, when it's time, you're going to know. And so, it was another beautiful moment of the Queen believing in Laura and knowing that Laura can do it. Even without Laura actually saying everything. Laura didn't really tell her that she wanted to become human. No, she just told her that she wanted to share more life from her life with the girls. She wanted to be with them. And the Queen understood it. The Queen is very wise, I think. And so we see Laura going back, and when she goes back, we see Summer battling against Shongire. Shongire was savage. He was brutal while fighting her, and I love that. I love that he was he didn't hold back. He did not hold back. And then she gets Manatsu and she holds Manatsu. It was a super sweet moment. Manatsu was worried if Laura was okay and she transformed. It was super dramatic. It was so beautiful. But here's my beef with it. The cures, we had a lot of moments with the cures trying to fight. They didn't do anything. They couldn't do anything. And I know they cannot defeat the monsters because the motivation needs to be collected before they're defeated. But they can't even defend themselves. It makes me so angry. The cure part of Tropical-Rouge is the only part that is not good. And so, Manatsu, Laura, with all her motivation, she is able to summon her own ring, and that relic that the Queen gave her transforms into her transformation item. Interesting thing about that is that I feel like it creates a big parallel with episode 1, in which the Queen told Laura that for a cure to be born, you need a human and a mermaid resonating their hearts. That's what happened in this episode, but the other way around. It was a mermaid that had her heart resonating with a human. But it was not only one human. She resonated her heart with the other girls as well, because even though she was holding Manatsu, we had all those moments and all those memories of her with the others. It wasn't very Manatsu-centered, and I really liked that. So she was able to summon this new power and transform into Cure La Mer. Well, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There's a video here of me reacting to her transformation and her attack. If you'd like to know my opinion on those, you can watch this other video. And then we see her kicking Shongiri out of the water. Girl, that scene was everything. And so when she got back on board, Manatsu saw her, and the girls also saw her because she was able to get the motivation back. The motivation restored to the girls. The scene when she collected motivation and she does this with her hair. Oh my god, that's so good. La Mer is everything. And so the girls go back and transform so that they can fight together. I'm going to talk more about that a little later, okay? So they are able to defeat the monsters and everything, and so after they go back to Aozora City, they de-transform. Laura, for the first time, is seen as a human. She was so emotional that she started crying, and the girls were all happy to see her like that. I almost cried at that moment too. And then we see Laura going to Manatsu's house. She's going to live there, and this is one of the things I really like about Tropical-Rouge. It's very fast. You know, like we didn't really need a big explanation on, oh my god, where is Laura gonna live? And let's talk about that. No, just show it to us, because next episode we're gonna see her in school already. So I really like that Tropical-Rouge doesn't really lose time in the narrative with those things. You know, it happened in past episodes too. Like there was that that school episode that they needed to go to the kindergarten, and we didn't show them getting to the kindergarten, talking to the teacher. No, when we saw they were already there and acting with the children. I really like how fast-paced Tropical-Rouge is usually. So now let's talk about the battle. I am one kind of person that loves mid-season Cure's arrivals when they are fierce and powerful and they change the whole dynamic of the season. And like they come in super strong and we have a super like great animated fighting scene. I live for those. Tropical-Rouge took a totally different route, which I usually wouldn't like. Why did I think that in Tropical-Rouge's case it worked so well? Look, Laura became a Cure because she wanted to save her friends. And she did not only want to save her friends, she wanted to enjoy time with them. She wanted to be able to live life with them. And not only live life regularly at school, but also live life as a precure now. So it was very symbolic that in Cure Lemaire's first fight, she didn't fight by herself. She fought with the friends that she cherishes so much. They're very valuable to her. So, you know, the girls, they were distransformed, but they transformed again so that they could fight together. And look, as I said, I usually wouldn't like this, but the way Tropical-Rouge did, chef's kiss. It was very, very good. It really blew me away. I loved this moment, and I think that it really, like, everything felt so good. Like, the whole narrative getting up to this point where Cure Lemaire is born. Oh my god. And as I said, it makes a lot of sense, narrative-wise, for Cure Lemaire to fight with the others and not by herself. Even though she has a solo attack, yes, she does, she fights with them. And she does not want to fight by herself because that is not the reason that she became a Cure. And I would love to see her kicking ass and destroying everything by herself, but the way it was done, it was great. The battle was not good, and we had some little nice animated scenes with Lemaire there, but I think that the nicest animated scenes were when they were together, you know, and like when Lemaire is looking front and Summer is in the back and she looks back at Lemaire and they're like, are you ready to finish this? Or just something like this. I really love that moment. And as I said, Tropical-Rouge really like blew me away with Lemaire's arrival and her birth in the whole season. Let's see how it's gonna play out in the long run, but I really, really loved it. And I love the way it was done. I love the way it was able to integrate Laura with the other girls and Laura's feelings and Laura's wishes and Laura's desires. Everything concerning Laura was super well done. And she's just incredible. Lemaire is just incredible. And I cannot wait to see more of that. Also, I recorded my reaction to the ending. It's probably going to be up tomorrow here on the channel, so I'll talk about it. Still no preview on the next season, okay? Let's leave that for a little later. Anyways, this is basically it. I think there's more to talk about Cure Lemaire. I'm gonna watch the episode more times and come up with more ideas so that we can discuss more Laura and Lemaire. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and obviously thank you to the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. Thank you for making everything possible. I really, really appreciate your support. And if you've watched up to now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye!